go, Friday. Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning, Jeremy.
So yesterday, I brought up the gambler's death. We're talking about Darrel from Storage Wars. He wore the tank top.
You have to qualify that when you say the gambler's death. It just sounds like the guy that gambles a lot.
No, the gambler. It was his nickname.
Often.
You remember the show? You had
I do. But like I said yesterday,
Brandy and whatever her boyfriend's name was.
I remember Yup Guy.
Yup Guy, Dave Guy. Yep.
That's it.
And then I told you yesterday, Darrel was on the show. He was, I think he was the self-proclaimed millionaire. Hold on, we got Brad Cash, a.k.a. Central Coast Bon Jovi, on the phone. Finally got a hold of him. He's up early. Hey, listen, Brad, you might remember the show and be able to fill in some parts that I can't a little bit easier. What was Brandy's husband's name? The show.
Oh, man, I really don't remember his name. It's been a while since I've watched it. But I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he always had the pimped out cars. But the gambler, Darrel Sheets, he has a store in Lake Havasu, and he was always kind of a stocky guy with kind of thinning hair on top, taller, always wore tank tops, and he went by the gambler. And him and Dave always got into it. Well, anyways, earlier this week they found him. Was it in his home with a gunshot wound?
Yeah, his store is actually here in town. Is called Show Me Your Junk. And he would basically go to every estate sale and every yard sale in town and collect stuff to put in his store, look for stuff. So he was real friendly with
I told
everybody
Jeff,
in town.
Yeah, I said I visited him back in February when I was there, and I'm surprised that he was there. I just figured, it's like everybody's like, oh, yeah. Then you walk in, he's just sitting right there in the front.
You're a star.
Yeah, very nice guy, too. He'll have a conversation with you. He was real down to earth.
But he had like five friends there. They were all sitting around. It was like happy hour. They were getting ready to close, but it was like 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Hold on a second. You were there for a week. You found the time to visit Darrel, but you didn't find the time to visit Brad?
Well, I had my appendix taken out right after that. I was not feeling well, but earlier in the week. I got there on a Sunday.
Next time
I saw Darrel on Tuesday.
To visit the guy from Storage Wars and not your friend Brad.
I know. Well, but Brad's not going anywhere.
He wanted to visit a millionaire, not me.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. He's a star effort.
Can we get focused? Can we get focused on why we got Brad on? Brad lives in the town. Darrel was a resident there. My parents said they saw him all the time. They took me to the shop. Very nice. We talked for about 5 minutes. But what is the theories, or what are some of the suspicions going around? Because it doesn't sound like a guy that I met would have taken his own life.
So on the Facebook page for the store, he had a Facebook page for his store. It's called Show Me Your Junk. And on his Facebook page a couple of months ago, he started posting all these posts about this guy in town and his wife that have been stalking him and harassing him and cyberbullying him and just giving him problems. And he kept saying on the Facebook page, he put their names and their information, and and he would say, if anything happens to me, these people did it. And the last post he posted about that was about 3 weeks ago. But there's multiple posts on his Facebook page about that.
Do you know if people locally, the investigation into, because it was yesterday when the news broke, it said he appears to have died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
Yesterday I was around town, and I actually drove by his house because I was in the area, and I thought, I'll do a quick drive-by. And didn't see any police or anything out there. His son was out there with a couple of people out front when I drove by. But I actually have a little backstory with this guy that's harassing him.
Yeah. I was looking right here. What's his name? Jim Thacker?
Jim Thacker.
Okay.
Jim Thacker. So about 6 months after we moved here, with the lake and everything here, we already had a boat, but we were looking at jet skis. We were thinking about possibly getting a couple jet skis. I seen some on Marketplace, and guess who was selling them? This guy named Jim Thacker. Well, I didn't know anything about him at that time. I went and I looked at the jet skis, had conversation with him. I almost bought the skis, but he wasn't willing to do a water test. And a local guy that was my pool builder, he's a professional jet skier, him and his kids, his whole family. And I talked to him about it, and he's like, no, if he won't do a water test, I wouldn't buy him. So I just, cut the line on that one. And then a couple months ago, my wife seen the post on Facebook that Darrel Sheets put about that guy. And she's like, why does that name sound familiar? She showed it to me, and so I looked at it. I'm like, it does sound familiar. So finally traced it back, like, holy moly, that's that guy that was selling those skis.
Wow.
Yeah, and it turned out to be him that I guess has been harassing him. And the guy lived in the area. He was like a handyman. He was always posting on Facebook that he's a local handyman and this and that. But Darrel Sheets, on his post, he put that he was saying how the guy lived here. He was a handyman, but he recently moved. But the guy's still been harassing him. And he said where he moved. He moved to somewhere in Oregon and gave his address and phone number and everything up there. Had pictures of him on his page.
Yeah,
so,
I just shared it, by the way, because I think people need to see what the true story is, what really happened.
I think it's so weird that they're just like so quick to be like, oh yeah, self-inflicted gunshot wound, when all this stuff is sitting there that probably needs to be looked into.
And you know what? He didn't seem like the guy that would do that, especially if he's given all these warnings, like, hey, if something happens to me, you know what I mean? And he was seemed like a really happy guy. And the other thing too is, like, he had a son and a grandkid. He doesn't seem like the kind of guy that would do that to his family.
Yeah, very sad story. And we all know, and we don't all know, but you know, and I know that Lake Havasu is full of retired people, and as they call them, the snowbirds, as my mom hates, because they take everything from the grocery store. They leave nothing for us locals.
Some people call them chicken blizzards. Blizzard chickens.
Blizzard chickens, I'll bring that up. But there's also kind of a rough crew there. I mean, there's also, there's all kinds of people that live there, and it was very cheap to live there for a long time.
Crew there.
And yeah, there's some rough people that live there too, so you just never know who you're going to cross.
Most of the people in this town are very nice, very, very giving and cool people, but there's always shady people in the bunch.
Isn't it a pretty small town? Like, how many people live in Lake Havasu?
Oh, it's bigger than you think.
There's like 50,000.
Okay.
Maybe 55.
So you got a super
during snowbird season, though. During snowbird season, that goes up, another 30,000. Then we have 80,000 people here.
Yeah. Easy. And best place to buy a boat, by the way. They're cheap.
Well, I think this is something we need to keep an eye on this.
We do, definitely.
And somebody needs to raise some flags if they're like, okay, this is a shut case. They're like, how could this be a shut case when he was giving warning flag after warning flag for months prior to it?
Right.
At least to look into that and see what the possibilities were.
I'm trying to keep up with it. I noticed last night that a local kind of a police Facebook page for the local community put a post up last night that they are thoroughly investigating the suicide murder, and it had like question mark kind of thing.
All right, cool.
So they supposedly are investigating it. Well, I would think that his son would push for that. I mean, if he was, because like I have friends that have had yard sales, and Darrel Sheets have come to their yard sales and that kind of stuff. And for the past few months, everybody he would come in contact with, he would talk about these hackers and these guys that are stalking him. He would let everybody know. So I know his son knows all about it. I'm sure his son's all over it with the police, to get them to investigate thoroughly. Well, I would hope so.
Be our updater, okay? Let me know. Reach out to me if you hear anything. Just a text is fine. And
if I get any updates, I'll let you know.
Okay, thanks, Brad.
Yeah. Retired Brad.
Hey, good talking to you guys.
Hey, what are those chicken blasters? What'd you call them?
Blizzard chickens.
Blizzard chickens. Yeah. My parents will love that. They hate the snowbirds, man. All right, take care, Brad.
All right, you guys too. Bye-bye.
All right, there he goes. The Cash Man, Brad Cash, a.k.a. Bon Jovi.